Wagwan Family, manners and respect, manners and respect. Good evening, good evening. As promised, guys, I told you I would have Dr. John Lennon on my program this evening to talk about Jamaica's issues and along with solutions. You understand me? So, you know, I like to start right sharp on time. So it's Jamaican time now. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock where I'm at. Manners and respect. So we're gonna go right to it now. Dr. John Lennon, are you there, sir?
I am indeed, Carl. I am indeed.
All right, Dr. John Lennon. People, it's raining. Where me at? Raining in my car. I gotta do it. Maybe I road, but the interview must go on. The show must go on. Good evening, Dr. John Lennon. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, sir, please.
Okay, well, yeah. Thanks for the introduction. Well, I'm John. I'm actually a PhD. I'm not a medical doctor, and I read chemistry. As you can tell from the accent, I was born in the UK, but I spent my entire adolescence actually in Jamaica. I lived in rural Clarendon, in a place called Thompsontown, and I attended Clarendon College. So after leaving CC, I went back to England, so I worked, went to university, worked again, and then many years later, I decided to come back to Jamaica. So a lot of people think that I'm an expert in renewables, but I'm not actually. When I came here, I just discovered the viability of renewable energy, and so just all I've done is use my common sense, and I think everybody knows that Jamaica receives a lot of sunshine, but the thing is, solar equipment is so cheap now. The fact is, why isn't solar panels covering the country and we're using the sun to get cheap electricity? Because I think everybody knows about JPS light bills, how high they are. So what's prevented anything happening in Jamaica is actually capitalism and corruption. Now, I'm a man who likes to talk about solutions, as Carl just mentioned. But if it's all right with him, I'm just going to mention something about corruption. Is that all right, Carl?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Come back again with the question. I was trying to fix the sound, making sure my sound.
No, I'm just saying that. Okay, I'm saying that I'm a guy who always talks about solutions, but I'm going to open by just talking a little bit about corruption, just to give the people an idea just about how bad corruption is and how it can drag people down with it.
Oh yes, we have to do that. That's it right there. We're going to talk about the corruption and how you see any way out how we can fix it. So just go ahead, Dr. John Lennon. I know you have a lot to say, and we are here listening and learning. Some of us have our pen and our paper out, ready to take notes. And go ahead, sir. Just go ahead and let them have it. Let me have it.
Okay. Well, to give you an idea of how bad corruption is, this is how I see it. It has really dragged some people way down until the moral compass, they haven't got one anymore. And the best example of that is George Wright. Now, I think everybody knows about George Wright, and we've all seen a video how we've seen this woman being battered with a man picking up a stool and hitting this woman. Now, I think we've all seen it, and we've all concluded that it must be George Wright. We've all made that conclusion. But the thing is, the lady hasn't pressed charges, and there's no evidence as such because there's no witnesses have come forward, and from the video evidence you can't see that it's George Wright, but we know it's him. So the police have questioned George Wright, and he said he's not making a comment. Now, I ain't being funny. If, Carl, you turned up and said, John, that's you in that video, me and you are going to have a fight. Because there's no way I could be associating myself with a video like that so anybody could think it's me. But George Wright hasn't said, you're mad, it's not me. He just said, no comment. Where everybody else would say, no, it's definitely not me. So straight away, this man is condoning this kind of behaviour. He's not said at any point men shouldn't be beating up women. He's not said anything like that. He just said no comment.
Wow.
Now, for me, if he's not going to make any comment, he's condoning the behaviour, and that man has no right to be a parliamentarian. He should be booted out.
I agree.
100% he should be booted. Yeah. Now, this has been a big issue. So a couple of days later, it was in Parliament, and there's the Prime Minister now. He's talking about it. So he says how he's angered and he's outraged, and then we start talking about studies about gender-based violence and then protecting rights, and then he goes through talking about this process to establish natural justice. And we're thinking, well, I'm thinking, hang on, are you going to ask about did George Wright do it? But this is the thing, Carl, at no point did he actually say that he had a conversation with George Wright. Now, I'm of the opinion, and I think you're of the opinion, he must have talked to him or not.
Of course.
Yeah?
You got to.
Yeah, he must have.
You have to talk
he
to
must
him.
have talked to him.
You got to talk to him because you make him look bad, you know. I mean, you bring shame to the Prime Minister, so the Prime Minister got to talk to him at some point. If he's,
Yeah, totally agree. He must, yeah.
Maybe he's not ashamed.
Yeah, he must have. Yeah, well, he must have asked him, but then nobody asked the PM to say that, what about the conversation that you had with George Wright? The police haven't. The police have just said, there's no evidence, we can't go forward. But we all know there's one person who must know about it, and it's the Prime Minister, because he must have spoken to him. So, all the listeners now should be thinking now, how can we now persuade the Prime Minister to tell us about this conversation he had with George Wright? Because we need this thing, we need closure now on this thing. Because the Prime Minister can talk to him about it, but no, he doesn't have to talk to him about it. He can just tell us what that conversation was. Because George Wright cannot say to him, no comment. If he says no comment, the Prime Minister has to say, yeah, he's got to resign. If he says, yes, I did it,
hold on
again, the Prime Minister is got to resign. Go on.
Guys, talk to me about the clarity of the audio, guys. Can I hear the doctor? Can I hear the doctor? Go ahead again, doctor. Speak. I don't want him to hear every word you're saying. But just,
all right.
Guys, tell me if the mic sound,
so,
if the doctor sound better, guys. Tell me if the doctor sound better. Tell me in the comment section. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. So, the PM has not made a comment regarding this conversation with George Wright. So I'm saying the police should now go to the Prime Minister and ask him about the conversation, because they must have had one, and the people need to know about this conversation. So I'm hoping that the people now who are listening to this will think, if John's got a point here, we need to get the Prime Minister to tell us about this conversation, because George Wright can't say to him, no comment, because he must resign. And if he says that to the Prime Minister says, you've got to go. You can't be beating up a woman and saying that you're not commenting, no comment about a woman getting battered with a stool. No, he can't do that. So the Prime Minister must tell the people what about this conversation. But I'm talking about moral compass. This is what really, really annoyed me, is that during this chat that the Prime Minister's having now, pretending that he cares, not one female parliamentarian, especially on the opposition, they're all quiet. Not one of them said, but Andrew, have you talked to him? Not one of them has said anything about, have you spoken to this man? So these women all know this man's guilty, and yet there they are, sitting in Parliament, knowing full well that this man's going to come back, and they're just going to accept him. Oh, it's an absolute disgrace. I mean, yeah, the sisters have watched another sister get battered with a stool, and they're not going to make a comment about it. That's how low they've got in this country. That's how low corruption has taken people. But it gets even worse, because not that long ago, I saw a photograph of Fable Williams with George Wright, in Westmoreland. I can't remember what it was about, but there it is on Twitter. I saw them, and you're thinking, what? You're mad. Why would you be in a picture with this guy who beats up women? But Favour Williams, she's another one we need to talk about because she's in the headlines at the moment because she's just been to the JTA conference, and we all know about teacher migration. They're not getting paid enough, so they're leaving. And what does she say? She says that teachers should get an investment portfolio. Carl, explain to me how a teacher can get a portfolio, mate.
Wow. I ain't got no money. They got nothing.
Hey, thank you very much. They've got no money. How can you get a portfolio? What's she saying? That every penny, every dollar that they earn, then don't spend it on your electricity bill and your rent or whatever. You get a portfolio with that. So how do you live? But that is how far removed these people are from reality. Now, the thing is, go on.
Yeah, I agree with I agree with you. I agree with you, man. Just like the Minister of Labour, the Canadian farm workers are crying out for about the work condition, and he went over there and he said that he didn't see nothing wrong with them. So basically, shut up and dribble. That's the heartlessness and the lack of touch and the tone deafness.
Yes, they're completely out of touch with the people. But Favour Williams, more so than anybody else, in my opinion, how you can tell people who are not earning anything and are leaving because they're not earning, and she's saying you can stay if you have a portfolio. And, well, how do they get a portfolio of investment if they've got no money? But the solution to this, to stop the migration, is to pay them more. It's simple. Pay them more. So people are going to say that, where's the money going to come from? Well, it can be found. In the United States, some states now are using solar-powered schools to boost educational funding. Now, there's a video about this. In Arkansas, just one school, put in a lot of solar panels, so they were looking after their own needs and exporting. When they did it, the district that they were in had a deficit of $250,000 US. 3 years later, they had a surplus of 1.8 million. So in 3 years, just one school generated over 2 million US. Now you translate that now to what we could do in Jamaica. Look at these big schools, how much some of the land they sit on. I went to Clarendon College, and that's got a lot of land. Now, if you put some solar panels there, a couple of wind turbines and the batteries in, you are now going to supply electricity for your school, for Chapelton, for Summerfield, a vast area. Just think about the amount of money you're going to be making. So this is money we can make just by putting in the solar panels and using sunshine. And there you go. That's one way we can now actually pay teachers more money. Now, for me, this is urgent because the government hasn't put out any solutions out there for this, none whatsoever. So the people need to know there are solutions because schools reopen in a week's time. In a week's time, they're going to open, and teachers and parents need to hear some good news that something's going on, that there's going to be some kind of solution to the crisis that we're in. Now, just before the conference, I think, no, it was just at the end of last term, Williams was telling the people that, the attendance levels back at school were at the level prior to COVID-19. Now, you know about COVID-19, that the schools were closed and then children weren't online, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, she said now, at the end of last term, the levels of attendance were back to what they were like, say, in 2017, 2018. You know what the levels were? On a good day, 4 out of 5 children were in school, and on a bad day, 3 out of 4. That's calamity. You're talking about, we've got something like 600,000 students, and you're saying that every day you have, on a good day, you have 120,000 students not in school. My God. I mean, we're in big trouble. We're in big trouble. But then, the only way to fix it, as I said, is for more money to be in the system, to pay teachers more and we have better education and make sure that parents can send that education is free so parents can send their children to school. Now, I suggested solar panel schools, solar power schools from 2014, that's 8 years ago. Now, during this JTA conference, William said that her ministry is committed to having dialogue with everybody about improving education. Well, evidently, I'm not somebody then, because up to October, I sent again all these proposals, and I know she got them because they went via the Deputy Chief Educational Officer. That's who it went via, and yet nothing. They haven't replied to me, no response whatsoever. So when she says that they're trying to get help and advice from everybody, it's a lie. They have no interest in getting any kind of help or advice or proposal. They're just doing what they want to do. And one of the things they're going to do, I just mentioned that in America, that the people have put in the solar panels, and then that money is now going to go to the school. Not in Jamaica, they don't want to do that. In poor Jamaica, the government, what their solution is, the private sector should put in solar panels and they make the money. So instead of schools giving JPS the money, schools will now give a private investor, invariably white, because that's how they run things here. So yeah, so private investors will get this money that JPS wasn't getting. That's their solution to when they talk about having lowering the with climate change and taking more buildings off the grid and getting like our what is it again? Our target is supposed to be 30%, isn't it, of our energy is supposed to come from renewables. So this is one of their solutions. It's not for the people to invest, or they use the people's money, to put in solar panels and wind turbines. No, they want private sector to come in and do it. So decisions like this that they're making, where they could keep an awful lot of money in the system, they don't. And these are the decisions that make education badly funded, and then because it's badly funded, it is crap for the vast majority of people, of students, Quality education costs money. You can't do chemistry without a good chemistry lab. It's not possible. You have quality education costs money, and we know education's crap because recently we had the Education Commission report, and he said something along the lines of that. In fact, I'll find it. He said the majority of students at the end of primary school remain illiterate and innumerate, and most leave secondary school with no marketable skills. That's a disaster.
That's a disaster. That's not good.
It's not good. It's going to be worse because of COVID-19. It's going to be a lot worse than that. We've got a production line now of boys that are going to come out at 13, 14 and just decide and just going to go into criminality. We're in big trouble. As I said, education needs more money. So it's essential that the people make Fable Williams and the government know that there are solutions. The solution is to put in our solar-powered schools. And the other thing about this as well is that what the government is doing actually, believe it or not, it actually violates the human rights, because education should be free and it should be of a decent quality. And the other thing is that governments are obligated to fund education to the best of their ability. The best of their ability would mean not paying JPS and putting in solar. Are you with me? You divert it, instead of diverting your educational funding to JPS, you're going to leave it in the school by spending that money, investing it in solar panels, which will pay for themselves. So this is actually a violation of human rights, and the government just goes ahead and does it. And because we don't have anybody fighting for our children in this country, we don't have any journalism, this is what they're getting away with.
Let me ask you a question.
People are going to say, well, what?
So why you think we don't, because no, it's little people like me and you and some vloggers, and people love to see Jamaica going in the right direction and don't like to see what's going on right now. Why you think that we don't hear more of it from the media outlets in Jamaica, Mr. Lennon, Dr. Lennon?
The media outlets. The media outlets aren't going to report it. The media outlets are owned by capitalists. It's not in their interest.
Tell us who own them. Tell us who own them station there. Tell us if you have any idea who own them station in Jamaica. Let these people know who own these channels in Jamaica, the station.
Okay. The richest man in Jamaica is a guy named Matalon. He's worth, from I read, 3.6 billion US, and he owns the RJR group. So he's a capitalist. So he's not going to want them to be reporting anything about debt or good education. He likes or what I want, which is state investment in solar power factories. These are things I want. All these things to be owned by the country, be owned by the people, so we benefit from it. He's the opposite. He wants private sector investors to benefit. So the RJR group are not going to report anything that I'm talking about. They're just not going to do that. CVM is owned by the second richest man, who is Chin. He's worth 1.6 billion, and he owns CVM.
That's Lee Chin? That's now, Mr. Chin, right?
That's him. Yeah, Lee Chin. So he's worth 1.6 billion. Now, he owns NCB, National Commercial Bank, and National Commercial Bank owns shed loads of government debt. Now, government debt, they're making a killing off government debt. We spend billions of Jamaican every month just looking after debt, and he's getting an NCB owns debt. So Lee Chin and CBM are not going to report about the debt, because that will mean they're going to kill the goose that's laying the golden egg. So they can't do it.
So tell me now, why we're not seeing the reporting in the newspaper about the hotel and the bad treatment of the hotel workers and low payment? Who can't? Go ahead.
Well, again, the RGR aren't going to do it. The Cleaner aren't going to do it because they're capitalists. They're just not going to do it. And then the other paper is The Observer, isn't it? And that's owned by the stewards, who owns the Sandals. So it's not in their interest to start talking about
who on the bus?
Good education.
Well, I'm selling and come on, the people I'm here now. Who on the Observer?
The Stewards, isn't it? Stewart, Butch Stewart, who died recently. So now his family own it, and the owners of the Observer. So an hotel magnate is not going to report about better education, because at the end of the day, they want to keep the status quo and make sure that there's always a production line of uneducated people to go and work for slave wages on their plantations. So it's not in their interest.
Not in their interest. Yep, not in their interest.
So the thing is, none of them want to report this. None of it gets reported. I've written untold letters to them. Untold letters. And got nowhere, no responses. They just don't care. Or when I do get a reply, and then I give them the details of what I want to talk about, then they disappear.
Wow. So the press in Jamaica is not going to work for the people. That's why you see nothing coming out of the press, people. No matter what's going on in Jamaica, you don't hear nothing, people. They're not working for us. How many times you see me do video, I'm going to say the press in Jamaica is like the watchman. You leave at your business at night time to take care of your business. But him and the thief, him and the corrupted actors, I got out the place, out of a corruption overnight. When you come back to work the next morning, the watchman is acting like everything okay. That is in news media to me. Them supposed to bring they go dig up corruption and bring the story to the people, so we can live better and our country can be better. People, you think say certain things could go? You think certain things can escape CNN and Fox and MSNBC people? People, you think a certain crooked politician can escape them? Come on now, Mr. Lennon, Dr. Lennon. Tell me about one of the biggest problems in Jamaica right now, the crime. Talk on crime, brother. Talk on crime, please.
Crime. Well, that's not an overnight solution, is it? I mean, I'm all for, the only way I can see me reducing crime is by social intervention. So the things I'm talking about now. So if you have better education, then you've got a better possibility of children not turning to crime. If these policies I'm talking about now have put this, when I'm talking about putting in all these solar panels at schools, it's going to be more than that. Because if it works with solar panels in the schools, then what about your courthouse and your police station, your fire station, your street lights? All public infrastructure should come off the grid. Hey, that's a lot of work, my brethren.
Oh, yeah,
a
man.
lot of work for people to do that, Years of work, that is, So straight away,
and maintenance.
you're going to be creating
installation and maintenance. That's work.
That's right. That's right. We're going to be producing work, doing that. And then there's also something called waste to energy that we can have, recycling, all these different, then we can have solar powered factories. All of a sudden now, you've got hope in the country. People would turn to criminality. I said, well, I can work. I don't have to go and teach that goat after all. I can, these are things, all of a sudden you can cut down the amount of criminality. And another thing, I said about solar powered lighting. Crime at night is caused because so many places in Jamaica are just pitch black, aren't they, bro? And that's when the criminals are out. So if the place is properly lit, criminality again would drop. And if you had, say, at every junction I'm talking about in rural areas, every junction was well lit with CCTV, and that was linked to a police station. So when a pro box goes by at 2 o'clock in the morning and the police see him and they can see the registration number, and then Mark George ring them and say, all these ghosts are gone, we know which bastard's taken it. Straight away they're going to know who's got it. So crime will go down. Pradial larceny will go down if we have proper lighting with CCTV. And I said, these things can be paid for. These things can easily be paid for.
So
that's one way we can put crime down.
So do you think, because I said this, I mentioned this on my videos several times, that someone is benefiting from crime. Whenever people bleed or cry, someone benefit. Do you think that someone is benefiting from this crime thing in Jamaica? This murders?
Well, murder keeps people fearful, doesn't it? The things when I talk to people about what I'm trying to do and would like to be implemented, people back up and say you're mad. You won't live to see many days doing what you're doing. In fact, one blogger, he sent and said that, in fact, let me see if I'll find it actually, and see if I can find it and I'll read what he said to me. Bear with me a second. But he said something along the lines of, do you think that JPS will just sit back and allow what you want to be done? Because at the end of the day, he said something like, here it is. He said, so you are familiar. Well, you do realize the hurdles one would have to jump over in order to bring your plans to fruition, especially the solar energy powered for every school agenda. JPS will never stand by and watch that happen. In a country where lives come cheap and corruption runs deep, you can imagine the measures the bosses would go through to stop food being taken from the plates. You hear that?
So what we observe from that is just sit down by your hand and don't do nothing then. That's how this get.
Right,
just sit down on your hand and don't do nothing. That's how we get from that.
Exactly.
In a nutshell.
Yes. And that's what they're happy to do. They all just won't do anything. Because again, fear. But you can't live like that. You can't live like that, Carl. You can't live like that.
No, we don't live by fear. We have to keep pushing. One step ahead, people. 1,000 miles stop at the start of the first step. The first step, people. Yeah. Nothing come easy. Change don't come easy. You think the British look on Jamaicans and decide say them and give the slave them, just let them go because them tired of us and they make enough money. No, we have to fight for it. Nanny and the Maroons give them hell. But no plantation and great house. Enough British soldiers lose them life up in the mountains. You didn't know that, people? Me not say if you burn down the place and all these things, people. That's not what me call it for now. Burning down of Jamaica. Me don't even no blocking of road. I'm into placarding and raising a voice. Me not in no burning down of nowhere. Remember me telling you, say, Carlos and join that. Those are illiterate move what we used to do from long time. Get to know when more than police come bust we up. That's all. Yeah, man.
I agree. That's right. And destroying your own infrastructure, isn't it? You're burning it down, and what do you do tomorrow when the infrastructure is gone?
Yeah, no matter sense. No matter sense. You know.
So the thing,
Go ahead.
right. I think people are going to be saying, right, these ideas sound great, but they cost money. But the proof is that it works in the US, and if it works in the US, it must work here. So then you have to look at how viable then is solar power. Well, back in January, Philip Powell, who used to be who's the shadow minister of energy, he said a solar investment pays for itself in 3 years.
Say it again.
So that's the equivalent of 3 years.
3 years.
So it's the equivalent 3 years. So this is the equivalent of me coming to your house, Carlos, and putting in solar panels for free. And in the first year, you give me the money that you pay to JPS. The second year, you give me the money you pay to JPS. The third year, you give me the money that you pay to JPS. The fourth year, you go out and get drunk on the money and do whatever you want in the fourth, fifth year, because all this money is now yours. It's a no-brainer. Yeah? 3 years. It doesn't matter how broke you are, you must make this investment. You've got to find the money for it. If you don't, you're a moron. You're an absolute moron. So let's put this into an easy context. Let's think about it like you're paying rent. So I'm renting your property, and I'm paying you, I'm paying you $1 million a year. Okay? You can come and say, John, you can buy this house for $3 million. Now I'm broke. I can just about pay you my $1 million every year. But I'm thinking, I've got to do it. I've got to find this $3 million. So I go to the bank now. And because the bank's racist, like the IMF is racist, it doesn't want me to move forward. It says, okay then, I'll lend you the money, but I'm going to lend you at 100% interest, which is unheard of, 100% interest. Not only that, they say, you have to pay it back quickly over 10 years. So, because I'm black, they decide to rip me off with 100% interest. So, instead of paying back $3 million, they want me to pay back $6 million. You know what I would do, Carla? I would gladly shake their hand and say, thank you very much. Because when you work it out, now I've got $6 million to pay back over 10 years. What's that? $600,000 a year I'm going to be paying back. At the moment, I'm paying you $1 million. So the first year, I'm saving $400,000 already from 100% loan. Remember, this is 100% interest loan, and yet I am making money. I'm saved $400,000. The second year, I'm going to save $500,000 because we know JPS bills got by about 10% each year. So it won't be 1 million. It's 1 million this year, but next year it's going to be it's 1.1 million. So the second year I'm going to be saving 500,000. The third year it's going to go up by another 10%, so it's going to be 1.21 million. The next year it's going to be 1.35. The following year it's going to be 1.5. It's a no-brainer. You go out and you get the money and you take all our infrastructure off the grid. But no, our government hasn't done that. It thinks it's better to keep on paying JPS about 150 million US. That's how much it is, 150 million US. They keep paying them.
So,
and again, the fear people have, when people hear about, because the government talks about debt and borrowing, people fear debt and borrowing. But as I just said, there's good borrowing, because I just said that I could get 100% loan, and it works out very, very well, because I know it's going to be repaid. But our government, when they borrow, it's always bad. Because they don't borrow for us.
And Dr. John Lennon, things must make sense, right? That's how we look at things. Things must make sense. Why do you think the Jamaican government don't look towards solar as a way of renewable energy in this 21st century, where everybody is looking for renewable energy? We have sun. We have no problem with sun in Jamaica year round. Why do you think, what is hindering the Jamaican government from going that direction?
Believe it or not, the World Bank came here in about 2013, between 2013 and 2015, and they sat down with Philip Powell, who I just said came off the grid in 2012. He came off the grid and said in 2012 that it will pay for itself in 5 years. He said back then. So the World Bank came over and said, let me just go back and say something else. In 2009, right? In 2009. the government at the time reported that we're going to have 2 waste to energy plants. You know, waste to energy now is where you get all your rubbish, and that's converted into electricity. So you build these 2 big plants, and then you'll take all your rubbish there, and then it's disposed of, and it produces energy. This is 2009, which is sort of 13 years ago. So just imagine if we'd done that in 2009, we wouldn't have all this rubbish and garbage all over the country, because all the time it would be getting processed all the time. Now,
we're behind.
That would create jobs. Yeah, that would create jobs at the same time, right? But here's the kicker. Back then they said this will save us $60 million US a year, which is 2009, so that's about 100 million US today, and it will produce 18% of your energy. So we don't get energy from our rubbish, 18% of it from our rubbish, right? Yet, the World Bank came here and said, no, you don't want to go to solar, and no, don't build the waste to energy. What you should do is move from oil, which you get from Venezuela, and Americans don't like Venezuela, and you should get natural gas, but you get your natural gas from America. They've screwed us.
Wow.
So that's what they've done. There's no interest. They have no interest in us as black people moving forward. They've made sure shaft us.
It's deliberate.
We are...
Deliberate.
How can you... Yes.
Maybe this video.
And this is one thing. Yeah.
People.
The World Bank should be put in the front of a court and explain to everybody how this was better for Jamaica. Because right now, before what's happening over in Ukraine and Russia, before that, we had the 4th highest electricity rate in the world. That was after the World Bank said, come and get LNG, this natural gas. The 4th highest electricity in the world. What that does now is make sure that a country like Jamaica cannot manufacture. That means we have to be always importing everything, and we have to import from America. And I love that, because when they import, our dollar gets depreciated, and like it against stuff for free, more or less. So all these white countries will say, they love it that we're having to always keep on buying, because we cannot manufacture. Our JPS bills prevent us from manufacturing. Now, if you reverse that and we have solar and wind and battery-powered factories, you would see that capitalism should work for us, but wouldn't, because what should happen now? Capitalism should say now that, look, solar-powered factories are the way forward. Jamaica has a lot of sunshine. We'll move our building and we'll move some of our manufacturing from some of these countries to Jamaica now. And that would produce jobs, wouldn't it, for us? But they don't do that. The only jobs that come here are what? Cold-bloody centres. Those are the jobs they move here. The jobs that they don't want, they pay a pittance.
Yeah, man.
They're the jobs that move here.
So we're always going to be third world. We're always going to be that third world, like people. These are the videos we do, you know. We wonder why we can't come up. Why everywhere we see our people of our complexion, we struggle. No matter what we have in our country, no matter what resources we have in our country, why from the Caribbean to Africa, why we can't come up, people? Why we can't come up? And I'm sure what Mr. Dr. John Lennon is explaining, it shed some clarity, some light on these eras. Why we can't come up, people? These are the videos we do all the time. Why we can't come up? Because see a third world country from a grandfather upon earth, we're a third world country. 2022, no matter what kind of new technology, whatever new experience come away, we always gonna be a third world country, people. You see why these things why we behind, people, is a deliberate act. So now, Miss Dr. John Lennon, since you look for solution, how do we get out of the grip of the IMF, who's making us do all this thing? How do we get out of this?
Well, get out of the grip of the IMF. Well,
or stand up to them. Can we stand up to them? How do we stand up to them?
Well, we have to. The only way we can do that is by making sure that the government hears us and says that now we want investment in solar and in renewable energy. At the moment, let me go through the debt with you, with the IMF debt. What the IMF has said to Jamaica is this, that one thing you have to do is save up your money in the reserves. All the time saving money. Now, if you're poor, you can't save money. It's more or less impossible. I remember when I was a student, saving was an impossibility. It couldn't be done. Couldn't be done. And yet, somehow, Jamaica has managed to save at the end of end of July, we had over 3.6 billion US sitting in the Bank of Jamaica, doing nothing. It's doing that,
in reserve.
Doing nothing, while in the reserve, right? When we don't have roads, we have communities marooned without bridges. Can you believe? Yeah, in 2017, a bridge washed away in a community in Clarendon, and to this day, they haven't put one back. Mm-hmm. The other day, I was in Albert Town. I wanted to move from Albert Town to a compound. I couldn't get there because the Troy Bridge has been down for how many years? So you'd have to go through some roundabout way. They told me I have to go from Albert Town to Christianity to Mandeville and then back up to Santa Cruz. My God.
Well, look here. Remember, tell you.
I had to go back home.
The other day, me read. Say there's down by Hanover. There's a health center down there, and somebody did a live video down there. The garbage at the health center pile up down at Hanover. It's like you can't believe it's a health center. The garbage just pile up. Today, me looking at the Star.
Yeah.
Today again, me looking at the Star. Them a show downtown. All the garbage just pile up. No garbage pick up. No garbage pick up.
Yeah.
Eh?
Well, again, Carlos, I say, this is going on. But as I said, there are solutions, because if we had waste to energy, we would have our trucks going around every day picking up our organic waste. In fact, it'd be so bad for the rats and the cockroaches, because they won't find no organic waste, anywhere. They'd have to all ship up and move out. You know what I mean? The place would be clean if we had these things in place. And remember, these things aren't luxuries. They're a necessity. They're needed. We don't need a bloody parliament building, but we're getting one. We don't need but we're getting it. But the things that we do need, like proper solid waste management, we can't get it. But again, I'll say it again, the thing about it is, these things I'm talking about pay for themselves, and some of them make a profit. Waste energy makes money. We'll put people working there, will earn a proper living wage. We'll be cleaning the streets at the same time. It's preposterous what's going on.
Yes, but look, another thing again. The thing I say about our dump in Jamaica. What them do is so open, and people can go to the dump. It's been happening from my boy till now. People can go to the dump and take out contaminated meat and anything, any food, and take to the market and go sell. It could have salmonella in it. It could have E. coli. It could be a recall of whatever contaminated food. Throw it to the dumps. And people in Jamaica are allowed to go to the dump to take out food to go sell. Bodies are dumped at Riverton City. People, you and I know that you can't walk up and not dump America. You cannot. People, you and I can't go and not dump up here, people. Now, let me tell you something, guys. So all you guys live in Florida, because Florida don't have no hill back down here, so, right? Mariana County have hill. But anyway, there's some hill when I go, there's some mountain close to around here. People, when you pass, there's some mountain where the landfill is. The landfill where they dump the trash. They call it landfill. When you pass the landfill of Florida, people, you see a mountain. A big old mountain with grass and stuff. They use dirt to cover the trash. They're making fuel out of it, people. You understand? I think it's what, methane gas? They're making out of it. Look, you see all type of pipe and stuff on the ground, people.
That's right.
The pipe.
That's right.
Do you see them throw dirt? Yeah. They make a big mountain out of your trash from out of your house. And they say nice grass and pipes coming out of the ground. Them getting energy out of that trash. That's what the man is talking about.
Yeah. Easy things that can be done. And as I say, keep saying they pay for themselves, but our government won't do it. What it wants, Carl, is for foreign investors to come and to put it in, and then they will get all the rewards. But the thing is, the foreign investors don't come here because the Jamaican government, the parliamentarians are so crooked. Because as I said, in 2009, a company, I can't remember the exact details, but I think it was two companies came here and they put forward their proposals. I think one of them were accepted, And then by 2013, it didn't go through, and the company said, well, it wasn't our fault. It was all the red tape and the bullshit that we had to deal with from the parliamentarians. They have no bloody interest in improving the lives of Jamaican people.
No, man.
The proof of the pudding, yeah, is the energy. You say we've got the 4th highest electricity prices in the world, and you cannot manufacture. You tell me of a successful country anywhere that doesn't manufacture. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, because it owns its own oil. If you own if you own oil or you own that kind of resource, then you're rich.
No.
Otherwise, you have to manufacture. And Jamaica doesn't manufacture anything. Now, there's certain things that we should automatically be doing here. Look at food processing. We have when I walk into the shop, we have tins and tins of food, and I look at the labels. One thing I buy is butter beans and broad beans, and they come all the way from Italy. They cost something like about $170 the one I buy, but I've seen others somewhere for like $220, right? Now, Italy doesn't have a minimum wage, but you're not going to get paid less than €7.5. This is a couple of years ago, so it might be higher now, which in Jamaican money is 1,350, an hour. Our minimum wage is about, 220? So if you even say you're going to pay a Jamaican a living wage, let's say they're going to pay them $700 an hour, you're still going to undercut in Italy, aren't you? Because with your $700 that you're paying your worker, and your free electricity in your company, you are going to produce this tin of beans for less money. You get me?
Yes.
So all of these things we should be processing here, and then we should be exported. We shouldn't be importing tinned mixed veg and crap like that from China. We should be importing the raw materials and processing it here in our wind and solar powered factory, adding value to it. And then we'll consume it here, what we need to consume, and then we'll send the rest abroad. That way we're making cheaper food we're having here. The food price will come down, and our import bill will come down, and we're exported as well to earn dollars. So we're gaining from both sides.
But what is happening? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What is happening now? We see clearly now, because with the videos like this, I'm going to say, you know what, they're destabilizing Jamaica from the inside. That's how I see it. Jamaica being gutted out from the inside and teared down from the inside. The people them that are there, real born Jamaican, holding back Jamaica. Remember I tell the people, some black leaders are the wickedest, are the worst, from the Caribbean to Africa.
They're not leaders, mate. They're not leaders. The politicians. There's a difference between a leader. I've got to stop you.
All right. Politician. These black politicians are the worst people. Look, no matter what we have in our country, you hear the man I say, all these things that these people can do by the touch of their finger. People, me tell them all the time in my video. That's why Dr. Lennon is here, so he can explain things a little bit better with his knowledge that he have. I just did a video the other day. I told the guys that the sexual registry list, the Jamaica sexual predator registry list is not public, it's private. And even though it's private, after 10 years, it's private, you know. Even though it's private, these persons can get the name off of it if they go to a judge in 10 years. So how is that benefiting Jamaica people? How is it benefiting Jamaica people when we don't know who living next door to us? Who's a taxi driver? Who's a bus driver? Who's a shopkeeper selling the them ice cream and sweetie? How is that beneficial? So these things tell me that them don't want to improve, and them see the laws, America. The gun laws, the crime, same way. The crime, man, they are Jamaica murder everybody out there, and when they come on Canada, America, England, them have to change because they meet Mr. Law. The law change them. I'm not saying some people don't stay dumb and stay on the track there, but when the law grab them, a different story. But most of us when we come over here, we meet Mr. Law, and that's what change us. Even bad man turn Christian at them place here. Because the law there. You understand me? But when the man left from Upper Sun, go back to Jamaica, the first thing you do, a Jamaica made them man, me go pee-pee or so. A Jamaica made them man, make me drink and drive. A Jamaica made them man, make me do something, make me do that. We just do, people, we need more love for the country. We need more patriots in office. We need more patriots as politicians, people, integrity and class. Nobody, we're tired of this, people.
Yeah.
No integrity.
Yeah. I mean, they set the tone, don't they? They set the tone. So the people follow them. They set the tone. They say, look at George Wright, what he did. So if he can do it, why can't other people do it? Simple, isn't it?
This is one of the most disgusting stuff we say about my Jamaica, George Wright. And we have the Speaker of the House. We have the DPP. We have the Prime Minister wife. We have the leader, the Minister of Gender. All females. All females.
Yeah.
The Minister of Gender, female. The DPP, female. The Speaker of the House, female. We have the Prime Minister wife and a bunch of female on both sides. And these people think it's okay to go sit down next to a woman beater, a man who beat a woman with a stool. Them see it and them know it. Jamaican women. When we do these videos, you know, Jamaican women when we do videos and me ball for Uno. Uno see have nothing coming. Do you guys see anything coming for Uno, guys? With people like these in office? Talk the truth in the comment section. Do you see anything better coming for you guys? With women like this in the office, very powerful woman, sit down in the office there, Speaker of the House, female, DPP, female, Minister of Gender, female, and a whole bunch of them. And go sit down next to a man and say, beat down a woman with stool. He must come represent the rest of us, Jamaica. That means everybody must beat the woman with stool now. Now that the example set from top. Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in bad times. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, we're in bad times.
We want to move on to our next topic, Dr. Lennon. What do you think about the police, the Jamaican government who in the police, brother? What's going on with that? Because that time when we have crime, that's why I said these things sound like it's deliberate, you know. These things deliberate, you know. Hold on there. Because why I say things deliberate, people? Because things must make sense. The kids are at home for 2 years. The school now keep. You have some Jamaican people, especially in Westmoreland, I see a video came out of a couple who opened their home and teaching kids, being tutors, volunteering to help kids who normally be on the road and run up and down and get themselves in trouble because the government couldn't open school at the time. So you have tutors, we say high school youth in an unfinished building and social media, gathering the youth them and teach them. But you don't want to believe, say, after COVID, the government would have push these things and embrace the teacher. We have, after COVID, after school open again, teacher dead. A bunch of teacher dead. But there's no compassion for the teacher them. They come down with law people. So people who tutors, you have to register. That means you have to have a license. You look at high school youth can't teach maths to next door neighbor no more. This couple that open them house down in Westmoreland to teach kids. You know, when Big C are going to keep them off of the road, them cannot do it again in a time like this. No, you understand me I say? They want them threatening teacher with arrest. They are threatening teacher with arrest people. These things are deliberate.
$500,000.
You hear that? Or 6 months. 500,000 or 6 months. No, things must make sense, people. Now we're gone to the police them now. People, you may just mention too, you know, COVID. People are help out. But after COVID, the schools start open now. The government come with a law to cut out tutor. Remember, you know, enough don't speak me over Jamaica, you know. Right now, the government should say, all hands on deck. Who can teach? Who can come out, come tutor? If your neighbor can come over, come help a local youth, give him some new maths and fresh up his English memory. Because the youth them are behind. But no! You're ready about dunce generation of youth because of 2 years absent from school. What they do? They come out, new laws. Your local son can't tutor nobody no more. The couple down at Westmoreland can't do it no more. And that them a corporate people. Teacher have to have them credentials. Teacher can't just graduate from high school and want to go teach and go and why them a teach them work for them degree and a credential until them can become a full-time teacher. You understand me? In a time when we need them most, what the government do? Knock the teacher in them knee. That means it's an attack on education. Alright, boss, we are talking about the police force. Me say that to say this. In a time when we have crime, people, you must say call like a deliberate. Me explain what I'm going about education. Sound deliberate, not true. Now look on the police them now. Deliberate again. In a time when we have the most crime in our history of Jamaica, when we need the people them to take care of crime to save our life, you're gonna owe these people, tie them up in a court. Brother John Lennon, you understand this issue and you can explain it better than us. Talk to me about this case of the police. Who in the police, brother? Please.
Well, I say about the police is that they're not going to fight crime if they're not paid properly, are they? It's simple as that. Well, why are you going to perform if you're not going to get paid? And the other thing is, remember, if you work in a hotel, you can get a tip, can't you? If you work in a tipping industry. If you're a policeman, that's not a tipping industry. The amount of money you get in your pay packet, that's it, unless you go out and do other kind of work. So when we have this right and left, you have to be sympathetic. I'm sympathetic towards them, I must admit. They've got no money, Carl. They're broke. They're broke. And as we know, a lot of them are Gallists as well. And so they have one baby mother in and another baby mother around the corner. If they can't feed them, they're in big trouble. I'm very sympathetic towards the police. I mean, they've got this overtime from 2008. Can you imagine? 2008, they haven't been paid. 2008, they're doing overtime. And police work isn't a job where you say, you look at your watch at 5 o'clock and say, I'm going home. You're at a crime scene and you're saying you're going home. No, you have to stay there, don't you, and process and do whatever. And when you finish that work, you go home. So you could be there for an extra 4 or 5 hours. But the government doesn't want to pay them and then goes to court about it. The government is 100% in the wrong. You've got the people working like slaves for free. Pay them the money. But the worst thing about it is this, that the money that they're not paying the policemen for the overtime is the money that's in the reserves. That's where it is. Because we haven't got money. You can't save when you're not earning money. And the government is having to try and find money from somewhere to put in the reserves because they don't earn enough. The place says, okay then, I'm not going to pay the teachers much money. Because if I don't pay them money, I've got money I can put in the reserve. I won't pay the police at overtime at all because I can take that money now and put that in the reserve. So the police, they should get it. All their overtime should be paid, and it should be paid directly from the reserve because that's what, in my opinion, that's where it is. So, I'm very sympathetic towards the policemen.
Doctor, what is going on right now is squeezing the civil servant to make the reserve look good. Yes. Yeah. They do not invest in anything because under the IMF agreement, we must run what's called a surplus. And that you can't, meaning that you have to have a certain amount of money saved at the end of every month, we'll say, and that money has to go somewhere, it goes into reserve. So by doing that, we have what's called austerity. And in 2015, it was reported in the entire globe, Jamaica had the most severe austerity, i.e. no spending on the people, i.e. you're not spending on the roads, you're not spending on education, you're not spending on healthcare, on nothing, you're not spending on nothing. But let me ask you a question then. So how come we're not spending, because we see the hospital them look terrible, with all the police, teacher them are run, just everything that's messy about us. So air traffic controllers, them step off there. National Housing Trust workers step off, NHT worker, Water Commission workers step off, and just stuff like that. And right now I hear them talk about the people who pick up waste, sanitary people in Jamaica are not getting paid. The people working in the sanitary department in Jamaica are not getting paid. The people who pick up the garbage, that's why I see garbage down at Kingston. And that I read people. So, how, Dr. Lennon, we can't do all of this thing, Dr. Lennon. Tell me how me hear the Prime Minister go around and promise to do the whole world of thing. Where we get money from and we can't get money for pay police and...
Well, I said, the problem with the money is that it's controlled by the IMF. They tell them what to do. But the thing is, the parliamentarians could easily push back and say, well, that's a bit harsh, let's not do it. But they don't. They take great pleasure in doing it. I mean, Nigel Clark brags about how much money's in the reserve. He brags about the software because he does. If you're bragging that you've got lots of money, in fact, he's putting too much money in there. At one point, there should only been about 3.5 billion in there, and he had 3.9 billion, and this was during bloody COVID. Honestly, during COVID, he was still putting money in the reserve instead of spending it on the people. I think these people are evil. They're evil. But you're saying about the money. One reason why public sector workers can't be paid is because of our debt management. Now, the IMF rolled up here in 2013, and they said, Jamaica, you're heavily indebted. Now, over the last 9 years, right, every year, on average, we spent 2.2 billion US servicing the debt. That means paying interest and reducing the debt. You hear what I'm saying there, Carl? You hear that? 2.2 billion every year for 9 years, right? You know how much the debt is falling by every year? It falls by 1 trillion billion. We're spending 2.2 billion for a debt to come down by 1 billion.
Well, no sense, backwards.
So, yeah. Well, that is why we don't have roads and people are not getting paid. And so what I've done now, I decided, well, this is criminality. So I went up to Mocha, because I live right next door to Mocha, and I spoke to them. I said, we can't go on like this. I said, we need to have an investigation. So I sent them a document saying, look, this is my complaint, and what I recommend is that the Auditor General looks at the debt and our management of the people's money, and also look at the energy policy, because we should not be buying LNG when we have solar that pays for itself in 3 to 4 years. We can't be paying back debt. We can't be paying back debt at this extortionate rate. Let me tell you something. I was watching, a couple of years ago, I was watching France News. The French needed to borrow some money. They wanted 6.2 billion, I think it was. So they went to the market to borrow it. Within an hour, all these offers came in from banks, right? You know, guess what their interest rate was, mate? It was minus. Our interest that we pay, our interest rate on our debt is something like 6 or 7%. But not for them white people. No, they get their money for free. The people give them the money and then give them a little bit on top of it to keep it for them. Can you believe that? I'll send you the video if you don't believe me.
Man, it's a deliberate effort to keep our foot power neck, you know, man. We have to wise up and pay attention, you know, people, and smell the coffee, you know, and stop running on the shiny object. Make us stop running on the shiny object. That's all we know, you know, people. When I sit down and have them a reason, you know, stuff, you know. Go ahead, doctor.
Yeah, they make sure all our black nations are mired in debt, and when you're in debt, they make sure they charge you some ridiculous interest rates. And remember, when they charge you high interest rate, that money, that interest goes over to those countries, so they get rich off it. But so when they borrow, their interest rates are next to nothing. But why is it that rich countries who can afford it, their interest rate is low, and poor countries that can't afford it, their interest rates are high? It's the opposite of what it should be. We have a system here where black people cannot move forward. Whatever we do, we cannot move forward. But as I'm saying, in Jamaica, there's only 3 million people, and we have these people in power. And the thing about these guys, they're so arrogant, and none of them are clever, because you listen to some of the things that Holness says. I marvel at what he gets away with when he talks about not contemplating, people don't have to contemplate paying tax. He thinks not paying tax is a good thing.
Not.
If a country is doing well, it means everybody's earning good money, and if you're earning good money, you can pay tax. And when you pay your tax, that money goes to paying your teachers, paying your doctors, building your roads. When your people are poor, they don't pay tax. So it's nothing to be frigging proud of. It's nothing to be proud of to turn around and tell people most Jamaicans don't have to pay tax. It's the opposite of what it should be. People try to avoid paying tax and don't want to pay, Carl, because governments like the Jamaican government will take your money and waste it. What they'll do is build a $50 million parliament building. So people think, I ain't going to give these bastards my money. I don't want to give it to them. They'll buy cars. They'll give the Governor General. They spent over $2 million they spent on the Governor General. Can you believe that? They bought him a car. They put an elevator in his yard, in the house, just for his comfort.
Me never know that. Me never know. Hold on the Dr. John Lennon. You see, they put the elevator at the GG house.
This was, if I'm getting it right, look in the Star, and it's around about 2017. Just look it up.
I'll definitely look it up.
Yeah, I think the figure was back then is 236 million spent on King's House. There's 2 stories about it. One's in the Star. Yes. So in Jamaican body, right?
2 story. 2 story I could walk up 1 flight of stairs, people. A 2 story, you know. And they could walk up the stairs, but forget. Mama.
Elevator.
Eh?
Yeah, that's right. while that's happening, while we've got places where people don't have bridges, children can't get to school, farmers can't farm anymore, and get, you know, I just don't know what to say.
Priorities.
People need to wise up, and they need to rise up against all of this. Well, let me just go to one thing which I haven't mentioned, because all these things I keep talking about can be paid for, and I haven't mentioned where the money will actually come from. As I said, Paulwell said solar pays for itself in 3 years. So we know it is economically viable. That is something that should be done. Now, as I said, the 3.6 billion in the reserves. And the reason why they said to hold it there is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard in my life. It's because there might be a bloody hurricane. Now, I'm 100% sure there will be a hurricane, but we don't know when. There might be one next year, the year after. There could be one every year. We don't know. There could be 2 in the same year, 3 in the same. We don't bloody know. The IMF rolled up in 2013 and said save in the reserves and don't spend anything on your people. Don't invest anything. All your money must go 2.2 billion every year. 2.2 billion must go back to servicing debt. That's the only thing that interests us. And you're thinking, hang on. So we're saving because there might be an hurricane. This was 2013. 9 years later, we haven't had a hurricane. Now, Carl, I'm putting this to you now. There's 3.6 billion in the reserve, right? I mentioned in 2009 about the waste to energy, which would then clear up all our garbage. So I'm saying to you, if they'd have started a process from 2009 of going through putting in renewable energy, putting in solar, more wind and all the rest of it, today, we still have that 3.6 billion sitting in the reserve, but we would have waste to energy, proper solid waste management. We would have all our schools would be solar powered. In fact, everybody would be up the grid. We wouldn't have no JPS. Everybody would be up the grid. We'd have solar powered factories. People be making money. The people you see selling at the side of the street, they disappear. They disappear because we'd have factories for them to be working in. Now, don't get me wrong here. Obviously, you've got to start at the bottom when you're doing manufacturing. That's where the Chinese started. You're not going to say we're going to have manufacturing and you're manufacturing cars. We're going to be manufacturing things that we need here first, aren't we? Your school uniforms and these kind of things, all the tourist memorabilia. And then you build up, when people get cleverer, they start innovating and building things, don't you? That's what will happen. You start that way. So we would have a much bigger economy now with better education, better agriculture, we'd have roads, all of this we'd have, and we still have 3.6 billion. At the moment we have 3.6 billion and a place that's fallen apart. But if they'd have started this what I just talked about, this investment from 2009, we'd have a completely different Jamaica today. We wouldn't have no bloody call centres for a start. We wouldn't have no call centres.
I told people, I told my Jamaican people, and not to embarrass you or make you feel no way, call center jobs are bottom of the barrel jobs. I love my people, but you know Carlos now go round the corner. People don't strive when people leave Jamaica come overseas. They do not strive to go work at the call center, people. We strive for better. When we leave Jamaica shores and come overseas, we do not strive to work at call centers. I don't know nobody. You know what I mean? Work at no call centers, people. We don't say people don't work at call centers, you know. But up here, you know, what we don't strive. So in Jamaica, you say we take a call center job like, me I work a call center down a free zone, me a good job, you know. Girl, hold your job in a good job. So it's like them give us a little bone. They give us a little bone. No, I must satisfy with the bone. You understand me? I say?
No, I'm going to disagree, Carl, because a lot of the call center workers don't like it. They're desperate, man. What are you going to do? And Holness knows it. Holness knows it.
No, me no. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying right there. That's what I'm saying right there. Say, they give you a little bone. You don't know better. Me agree with you. I see a page with the pan, brother. I the same page. They don't know better people. So you believe that's the ultimate. Like, all right, look here. When I was in Jamaica, I see a man put on a white shirt and a black pants working at a hotel. We think it's a good job. Me not lie you people. When we there country, we say a man up a country, get a job down a hotel, down a Negril. We don't think talk the truth, people that bed must spread up, you know. Now good job. Think about what mind is. So the mind at a certain level, people. You see the brain is at a certain level. As you grow, you advance, you learn better, and you do better. And these politicians know what is best for these people. They know better, but they just want to keep call center job and build more hotel. So when they tech job them there.
Yep.
I mean, when they tech job them there.
Well, this is it again now, Carl, again. Because Holness talks about prosperity, and then he talks about economic growth. You cannot have economic growth from call centers and tourism. You know what our three biggest earners are? Our three biggest earners in this order are tourism first, remittances is second, shameful, remittances second, and call centers are third. You tell me, on God's green earth, that you are going to build an economy that's thriving and you're going to have growth every year. You can only have growth by chopping down more mangroves and building more hotels, which we don't want, and building more call centers. But the growth that you're getting is minuscule. It's proven. Our economy has stagnated for over a decade. It doesn't go up, it goes up like by 1%. And he's got the brass neck to turn around and talk about the prosperity that we're seeing today. And because we don't have any journalists who turn around and say, you're a goddamn liar, mate. There ain't no fucking prosperity, pardon. There's no prosperity here, mate. Not one of them has a ball to turn around and tell him you're talking bullshit. Not one of them.
No, see. He come back to the news. He come back to us, the people, and the news. People have problems. People have work to do. No, seriously, like we have a work cut out because there's a black hole when it comes to the news of Jamaica. Me said these things couldn't get away from Fox, MSNBC, and CNN. People they couldn't get away from the local channel with them corruption. They couldn't because reporters are gonna meet them outside them house. Hide behind bush, meet them outside them work, find them walking in a parking lot and have a mic and a camera in their face. I question them. The man answer out of them. In Jamaica, do you ever see that, family? We don't see that. And next thing, the people. Number one, we vote them in. You ever see Jamaica people go out there and protest for nothing? Do you ever see Jamaica people put politicians to work when politicians come in at the constituency? Do you ever see Jamaican people when they get the little handout and little rum? Do you ever see them say, boss, fix the hospital now? Boss, you can't fix the school? No, we don't do that in Jamaica. We don't put politicians to work. So we, the people, need to change our mind. None but ourselves can free our mind. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, we should do it.
So, there was a question to ask you now about the hotels, right? Because in 2020, when the Prime Minister was running, he ran on, he was going to give hotel workers, pension, right? For all hotel workers. So now in 2022, as we start dig down deeper in it now, I find out that hotel workers are on contract. So while they're on contract, they'll never get off a probation. Remember, you know, tourism is our number one job employment. Right? Remember them I get 2 pence and nibbles and bits. So in 2022, as I dig down and start pay attention to it, get to understand that more and more hotel workers find themselves as contract workers when they sign a contract every 3 months, which means you don't get a job, you're a temp worker because you will never come off a probation. And that's a way to keep you away from your pension. What do you think about that, brother?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure about the pension scheme, but I would say that the likelihood is that even if you do work full-time for the hotel, their contribution will be it'll be minuscule. Pensions, you have to put in a lot of money to get anything out of a pension, because you've got to remember, if you're retiring at 60, what you want is to have money every week until you die without working. You're not going to get that, are you? You've got to have millions upon millions upon millions of Jamaicans, millions and millions of dollars you have to contribute. Mm-hmm. So it's an impossibility. People in Jamaica can't have pensions because they don't earn enough. They don't earn enough, they can't save. It's simple as that, Carl. So this pension that they talk about is bullshit. because it will, at the end of the day, it will not
Benefit.
deliver. No, pickings. And then there's an advert with Bartlett where he's saying about putting to the pension and then retire and live in what, not luxury, but live, you know, in peace and whatever. I can't remember the terms he uses. And it's just a lie. It's a myth. To have a pension costs you a lot of money. You'd have to be putting in, you'd have to be putting in 150,000 Jamaican every month, that kind of money. I'm not exaggerating either. That's the kind of money you'd have to be putting in there. 50,000 a month.
That's true. So you can live kind of almost semi-comfortable at the end of your work days. And I like to tell people. And on top of that, Dr. John Lennon, on top of that, the little measly pay that they are getting. On top of that, did you know that hotel workers, hotel owners or the hoteliers be stealing these people unemployment benefit? They found that out when COVID come in. And them not working, so them go draw for them unemployment benefit. Come to find out that the hoteliers, the people who own hotels, remember they're already giving them nibbles and bit and jinglings. They're not giving no benefit people. Treat them like dog and them still steal them unemployment benefit. Jamaica would have never known that if there was no COVID. They would have still a paying to the contribution and them still a thief it every week. Imagine that. Me no hear nobody get called up in a parliament. Me no see no PNP and no JLP, councillor, MP. Nobody, no me and nobody on both sides. Take people in Jamaica. Nobody.
Just in keeping the hoteliers happy. That's their only interest. It's keeping the co-op centre owners happy. You're keeping the mining companies happy and keeping the hotel industry happy. That's the only thing. They only care about investors. And again, invariably, they're all bloody white. They're from Spain, England, wherever, US, Canada. Yes, yes, our Jamaican workers, we're treated, yes, some of them, we've got a different kind of slavery now, haven't we? Yeah, we're free, but you're not economically free. You know, yeah, you can go out and, you know, buy a beer now and then, but you're not economically free. You just, you haven't got real shackles. You haven't got the physical shackles to your wrists and your ankles anymore, but you've got nobody. So if you look at where some of the people live, my gosh, here in the heart of Montego Bay, oh my gosh, I mean, when I walk to the market, you should see just by Railway Lane the state of some of the accommodation.
Wow.
And then you'll hear them talking about Montego Bay as the Mecca. It's a horrible place. I mean, yeah, it's nice when you're at the all-inclusive, yeah. But even if you walk on what's called Bottom Road, which is
Gloucester Avenue. Gloucester Avenue.
That's it. That's right, yeah. Which is now the Jimmy Cliff Boulevard. I bet Jimmy Cliff ain't happy because I wouldn't want my name associated with that road. Oh, no. I'll be telling him, no, not my name. No, there's nothing down there. All the tourists, and they talk about tourism bringing all this money in. I walk on Bottom Road 3 times a week. And let me tell you, and I'm not exaggerating, half the time it's empty, it's dead. There's hardly anybody around. All the tourists, they just stay in their all-inclusive. And when they come off the boat, they don't come and mingle with the locals. They go straight to 2 places. They go to Margaritaville and they go to Doctor's Cave just around there. And that's where they all go. They don't go down to the bottom line, down to Dead End and where the locals are. So the craft market, just where I live, they're always complaining that they don't get $1 because they just drive by. In fact, my sister was telling me the other day she couldn't believe it. She said she was down there, she's a vendor, and she said she took ill. This is last week. She said she took ill and somebody put her in a taxi to take her home. And she said when she got down near the airport, the road was blocked off, and she said she couldn't believe her eyes. All she could see was the coaches coming in and going out. She said she never knew that many tourists were coming in because she ain't seeing them at the craft market. She was all mortified, she told me. Couldn't believe it. She said, John, a beer bus down there. Them are come in and them are go out. Yeah? But the locals don't get hardly a dime from tourism.
Well,
this is something that needs to be fixed. That these hotels, they want to take every dime that's going out there. They make sure they're selling all the trinkets if you want to go somewhere, they try and organize the trip. They don't just leave you. Yeah, the government should step in and say, no, you can't do any of that. The locals must have part of the pie. So if they want the T-shirt and that kind of stuff, they're supposed to leave your hotel and go up into the grill or go into Montego Bay and go and bloody buy it there. You don't sit in your hotel all for 14 days and never come out unless you get on the bus to go to Duns River.
Oh, let me tell you what I'm going now. I see this for a long time now, brother. I did several videos on this where I see the Indians. Now, let's talk about these people. We are talking about the hotel, so we have the Indians killing us in the tourism. Because buses used to go to Craft Market. I used to be in Negril, I used to be in the tourism. And I used to see buses go to Craft Market. I remember when Craft Market, people used to make money, when them big buses used to park right beside the community center down at Negril. And them bunch of tourists go to Craft Market and vendors and make money. What the change, what the difference we see in Jamaica, used to have the duty-free stores. And these stores used to sell glass, cups and jewelry, perfume. People, they used to sell t-shirt also. Listen to me. Glass and cups and perfume and jewelry. That's what the Indians them used to sell people when we just go on the grill. Do you hear me? But people go to the grill right now. They are selling carving. They are selling beads. They are selling basket, straw hat. They are selling cane, wood. They're selling everything that is at the craft market. No wonder them craft people now get the money and them not sit down at Jamaica. How me see it and them not see it at Jamaica. How me see it and the people in charge don't see it. I did several videos on this, man. Craft market people not making no money. Jamaica people not making no money, and the all-inclusive hotel them too. They have them local boutique at the hotel. And they must sell the same thing at the hotel. Remember, you know, they must sell food to the guests, you know. They must get paid for the room, you know. Plus every little other trimmings around here, you know, people. But make something go to the poor people them down so they know. These hoteliers, them buy off all, look here, they buy off all the carving. If I look at carver, they will come from a mountain. We carve them local carver. All the basket and the straw hat, all the little bracelet and the necklace and all the little bead them. Them have them on them hotels so they will clean up everything so Jamaica must get nothing. Look at that.
Well, damn right. Yeah, it's criminal.
Yeah? So we have the Indian. So we have the Indian, a murder we. In the tourism, when it come, you know, because talk about business inland now, Dr. John Lennon. We have the Chinese a murder we inland. They might get tax break, we not get none. You know, see Jamaican owned business are shut down all over the place. It's drying up. Jamaican owned business because we cannot compete against the Chinese who get tax break. Jamaicans have to sell them bread for $1.50 when Chinese sell it for $1. And not because they say Jamaica that pass the Jamaican shop to got the Chinese man. Poor people are vulnerable. Friday night, if you have $1,000, you want to go buy some stuff, where you go? The Chinese man for the bread, for $1, or you go the black man for $1.50. You go where your money can stretch. All when you get plastic rice. Poor people are vulnerable.
Very, very vulnerable. And they say about nearly every shop in Montego Bay is owned by the Chinese. It's quite remarkable. Nearly every shop. The only ones are not. Your food shop. That's about it, really. Your food shop. Sorry, not your cook shop, I meant, not food shop, cook shop, and little bars, anything like that. But all the shop, if you're doing any kind of grocery kind of shopping, then the Chinese own that. People, it's quite remarkable.
But Dr. John Lennon just mentioned a while ago. Him say the call center. Remember man talk about the call center? Pittance, what no money that. That's what we're talking about. No money, bottom of the barrel job. People in Jamaica mean a lot to you. You understand? Because we don't know better people yes over there. As you grow, your mind will grow, you will understand. Okay? Me not knock on the job. But call center get squeezed. Hotel workers are get squeezed. The people working in the industry or craft market that get squeezed. Now make the money to tourism because you have the Indian in my murder way. You have the who are get squeezed in the industry, in the hotel industry. I get squeezed some hotel owners. Most of them come from overseas who take their money and go on over with it. And if it decides to boy, I'm going to set up a local shop in the neighborhood. I'll bar me see Jamaica bar a shut down because people are got Chinese store go buy one cigarette. One cigarette, them got Chinese place go buy one for cheaper. One cigarette. And the cigarette fake. No fake cigarette in Jamaica, you know, people. You understand me? So, you see, and all the people who can't win for nothing. That's what I'm telling people. That's why we must have a poor country. Look, no man. All front is pressure. An albatross around the neck. Every time you try to lift your head above water, try to save yourself from drown Jamaica. Look at that. Let's look what I tell a while ago. Look on everything in Jamaica just look like it is set against us. Against us, and we have leaders who's supposed to love we. Who's supposed to band there, who's supposed to be patriots. Do they love us, people?
Using the people's to invest in solar. We do that, we'll have cheap electricity. We have cheap electricity means that you can manufacture. Once you start manufacturing, you can start competing. You'll have jobs now that will pay a living wage. People have hope, you'll have better education. So if you have better education, then at the same time this is going to be a social intervention where you're going to can be done, can be paid for. As I was saying before, I said, first of
You're breaking up, Doc. You're breaking up, Doc. Doc, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. Are you there? Hello? Hang up and call me back. Hang up and call me back real quick. Sometimes the WhatsApp dead, you know, I have to call back to get a new line. Boy, people, good argument, not true. Yeah, man, I demand have a conversation with as Jamaican people. You know, of a country I talk about the people.
Yeah.
Yes, doctor, you cut off, so call you back.
All right. Well, let me just say this then about that we can. You said there is a solution, and the thing is, the money is there to pay for it. As I said, we have 3.6 billion sitting in the reserve, and there should be an explanation why it's sitting there. They say it's for a hurricane, but if it's there for a hurricane, if you have a house and the roof is bloody leaking, right? It's leaking, and it gets big, the hole gets bigger, and the water's coming in and destroying the foundations. What do? Do you sit down and say, well, I'm not going to fix it because a hurricane might come and blow down the whole house? No, you don't, do you? You fix your bloody house. That's what you do. You fix you don't wait. And that's what the government's doing with this, saying that, oh, there might be a hurricane. Now, to take all infrastructure off the bill, off the grid, wouldn't cost that much money, because each year, the JPS bill for all of it, your schools, courthouses, street lights, it's around 150 million US, okay? Now, Paulwell said solar pays for itself in 3 years. So 3 times 150, 450. So according to Paulwell, you need about 450 million to take everything off the grid. As I said, it's 3.6 billion in the reserve. Now we'll say that, okay then, well, why don't we get $1 billion of that money to invest? Because we know we're going to need roofs on some buildings, going to be some repairs need doing, some things are going to have to be rebuilt. So I'm from Clarendon. There's a place called Muckle. Their police station was falling apart because of termites. You know what the Jamaican parliamentarians did? They got 2 shipping containers, put them on stilts, cut out some holes for windows, and that's where the police are. That's the police station now. Shipping containers.
Going backward. That's going backward. That's going backward.
I don't even know if you want to call it backward. It's just damn out of order, innit? That's what how you treat your workers while you're building a $50 million parliament building. So anyway, so this billion, so in fact, we should take 2 billion, and that's what the people need to say to the government now. Look, this is our money, and we know it's there. We don't want it to sit there. We need 2 billion of it to invest, because this is going to create jobs. We need roads, because the first thing China did in their rise, Carl, the first thing they did was build roads, because communities must communicate and they must trade. Our farmers can't trade because you might have the best piece of land in the world, but if you can't get to it and you can only get there by a donkey, you're not going to do well, are you? So all this land could be opened up for much better agriculture. Again, with solar, you could have your solar powered pumps for your irrigation. You're going to have solar powered refrigeration, solar powered food processing, so that if there is a glut like in tomatoes, people won't be taking the tomatoes from $100 to $30 and where they can't make a profit. No, if you have a processing station, that processor will know every time that you know you've got somewhere you can take it to, will sell it for $80 all the time. So all these things we could have that will be building the economy. And as I said, the money is there to pay for it. It's not that we're poor. The money is there to pay for it. And the other thing is the debt. How on God's green earth can we be spending $2.2 billion every year and the debt go down by $1 billion? It must be looked at, because that's money again that should be invested. The IMF says...
But thieves, like some of their thief. Some of the thief, man, it look like something so holding at some pocket there. If you investigate an alive doctor, holding a bucket somewhere around here.
That's why they said that took it to Mocha, but Mocha hasn't done anything about it, and that's why I'm here now, hoping that the people say that this is crap, it must change. But the other thing that people can do, and I've sent you the links, didn't I, is that I submitted a petition. I can't remember when it was, a few months ago. And this petition is about public sector workers, that's all public, that's teachers, policemen, all of them getting paid properly. Now, it also will encompass everything that I'm talking about here, the energy, the debt, all of this. People need to sign this petition, Carl. So we have to say that it needs to go viral. Because if we get about 50,000 signatures, and we should, because all teachers should sign it, and all parents should sign it, all students should sign it, I mean, we should easily get 500,000 signatures. But anyway, we need it to go viral, because if it does, then the parliamentarians will have to take note. They have to take note, and then something can be done. They can't just say, we'll ignore it, because if they try to ignore it, we'll be back here again saying these devils are ignoring it. What's the next thing to do? And for me, it's the term is civil disobedience, isn't it? One day of the week, we'll make sure that all people everywhere will say that, okay then, we're going to block roads. Because the problem we have is that, like with the mining thing, we have a few people there blocking the roads and complaining, and that's it for a day. Where there should be some unity where everybody joins in and they block roads in their community. How many communities don't have roads? Every community doesn't have roads. Montego Bay doesn't have bloody roads, you know what I mean? We all need to unite, and we have to get to a point, so it's probably on your platform where we say enough is enough, and we watch the politicians, and if they're not doing, like we say, we have this petition, and it gets X amount of signatures, and it does get into the media that eventually on TVJ or whatever, they have to mention it. And then a whole of the society says, oh, screw them, I'm not doing anything. Then we have to act. And as I said, taking to the streets is the best thing, isn't it? We have one day, and we make sure that's the day that, say, all the ships are in at Falmouth, at Mulbay, Old Chief, wherever they turn, what's the other one, Port Royal. If they turn up that day, we make sure the tourists ain't moving. Those roads are blocked. We make sure no tourists are going to the airport or leaving the airport. Any airport, they're blocked. These are the things we're going to do. We have to do, because that way they'll turn around and take notice, because we know the term, they say that tourism rules. This is what runs the country, they reckon.
Well,
this isn't a case of cutting off your nose to spite your face. Come September, Carl, children won't be going to bloody school because they've got no bloody money. Parents haven't got no money. They're having to find. I read a story a couple of days ago where a poor lady was rejoicing that her child had got a transfer to VA Technical. This is in Clarendon. This happens to a lot of children because of the PEP and whatever. And when they choose a school, they can get put into a school miles away from where they live. So this lady, her child lived within walking distance of here, but they said he had to go to school in a place called Folger, which is over 10 miles away. And she said it was impossible. She said she'd have to find $1,500 every day, $7,500 every day. And I said, well, she can find that. It's impossible. Yeah? And we're going to have that come September. That is what we're going to find. Probably 50% of children going to school every day, that kind of thing.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's unsustainable.
Wow.
That's the reality. When I was in Clarendon, a lady turned up where I was with her 2 children in tow, a 7 and an 8-year-old, because she never had no money to send them to school. She had 3 children, and she had to pick the boy and gave him the only $800. He needed more, but she had to give him the $800, and the 2 girls couldn't go to school. When I was up there, I saw children playing around when they should be at school, because the parents ain't got no bloody money. You wait until September, it couldn't be there.
May I ask you another question regarding the police? May I go back to the police and the wages owed to the police since 2008. Do you think, what about the interest on that money?
I don't think the police even care about the interest. They just want their money, Carl. They just want their money. Interest should be paid, of course, but just give them the money, mate.
But explain to me, Doctor, the court case, because a lot of people did not understand what the government was trying to offer the police. So break it down for us, what the government was trying to offer the police in nibbles and bits over 6 years. Explain to these people for me, please.
Well, I can't remember exact detail, but from what I recall, that the police decided, okay, then it's 2008, but we'll compromise and say you have to pay us, I can't remember the date, so I'm going to say from 2013. But the government said, no, we'll pay you from, I think, 2019 or something like that. Now, I don't understand how you can be in the wrong, but you're setting the agenda.
You see that, some people? You see that? All right. You did it?
Yeah,
it made no sense. It made no sense, man. Laughable.
No, it is. Yeah, just, and I said, but we know where the money is, and they went to court, and you think, well, they've earned the money. They've earned it. It's their money. You've stolen it. What they've done is stolen the money. They've stolen it. It's theft. Well, because I said, to build the reserve, we don't earn any money, so the government all the time is robbing Peter to pay for, and the police were the people they've been robbing, because they just haven't paid them the overtime, and that money has gone into reserve, and they need to be paid. I'm getting
to understand. I'm hearing that the refusal to pay them from 08 is because they are claiming that the money, some people say, why didn't you guys ask for your money under the PNP? Which is so stupid. Often see people in the comment section say that. Guys don't say that, because the police them don't work for PNP or Labour, they work for the Jamaica government. So when they work under the PNP or under the Labour Right administration, they work for the people, Jamaica government, the government of Jamaica, they get paid. Some people want to politicize the police force, you know. Like my Labour Right police and my PNP police. Them no care who in a power at the time, people. They work for the government of Jamaica, they should be paid.
They work for the people. That's right, they work for the people. They work for the people. And remember, it's the people pay them. Governments don't pay. It's the people's money. And the people want them to be paid. The people's money pays them, not the government. Yeah?
So the police money is sitting up in the reserve. It's in the reserve, people, among the other billions.
Yeah, and that's my opinion. Yeah.
They believe so too.
They need to get them. Yeah, they need to be paid. And let's say the people need to, say this petition's all about that. And the petition I put in, I've had to put it onto one of the international sites, because I actually put the petition into the office of the Prime Minister, because there is a petition site there. And it's quite amazing that you put in your petition and, you know, they review it. It takes them like a month to review it. I mean, you're reviewing a petition. As long as the person isn't swearing or something, you're putting up the petition, the person's vexed, you put up the petition immediately. You don't take a month to put it up, because by that time, the issue might have finished. You're vexed at the time, and that's why you start a petition. Anyway, they didn't put this petition up at all, and they didn't send no explanation of why. So that's why I had to put it on an international platform.
Where can they find this petition? Where can they find this petition, Doctor? Because we want to get people on board to sign this petition. You know, where can we go view this petition? You send it by WhatsApp?
Yes, I did, yes. So if you put it into the description, then people can see it, and there's other stuff there as well. There's a YouTube link where all the things I talk about, the debt, education, public sector workers, that kind of thing. It's all there where I try to explain, break it down and explain it. So if people can go there, there's a YouTube channel there. Also, I've got a website as well.
What's the name of a YouTube channel?
Let's Build a Better Jamaica.
Let's Build a Better Jamaica.
And the website, Let's Build a Better Jamaica, and the website's the same name as well. And there's also a link. Those people who are on Twitter, hopefully there's a link to a tweet to the Integrity Commission and Craig Christie. 2 years ago, back in October of 2020, I put in a complaint about the corrupt energy policy, and he's done nothing about it. Quite remarkably, this is the Integrity Commission.
No,
and they've done absolutely nothing. That's right. And again, this shows you the depth of corruption in this country. That critical. This is a critical matter for Jamaica. Energy is the most critical thing. It's what is keeping us down. We can't manufacture, which means our economy cannot grow. So we can't do the things that we need to do. And again, we have the debt and the IMF on our back as well, screwing us as well. So we have these problems, and I've sent it to Greg Christie for him to look at it. And they won't do anything about it. So Mocha's got one, Greg Christie's got one. I also sent to an independent, which is the, Trevor Monroe and the, what they call it again, National Integrity, what they call it again, NIA, is it? Mm-hmm. I'm talking about the NIA, I think they are, and Trevor Monroe. They're a corruption body. And they didn't do anything about it either. Another group called JAM. I've written to everybody, the public defender, you name it, everybody, the children's advocate, believe it or not, didn't respond, phone calls, anything, won't respond to me. I'm saying that, this is about making education better, children being in school. No, she hasn't replied. This is the level of corruption we have in the country. And you say, we'll change anything until we take the streets. That's my belief.
More copy something there. What have you on? Because I think that a third of the GDP, Jamaicans in diaspora sent to Jamaica, who hold up a country. A third of the GDP is us, right? Responsible for that. We can send money to Jamaica, but we cannot vote. I know, say, like most of the people from more people are overseas than on the island, and most of us who travel overseas are more enlightened than a lot of Jamaican people in Jamaica. No disrespect, people. But when I was in Jamaica, I used to think a certain way. Until when I started traveling, I see things a different way, people. So no disrespect, I was right there too. You understand me? But people in Jamaica don't understand certain things, and these people go vote and then understand these things and issues that we talk about. Like most people don't vote on issues. They just vote and give me a $5,000 for me vote. Yes, me good up, boss. Argument done. And these people are the one who vote and make decisions for so many of us overseas family. So me I think about say, what do you think about if we start vote from overseas, get a chance to vote in elections from overseas? What do you think about that?
Will it matter? You've only got two parties to vote for, and as you said, you're going to be driving the same documents. That's going to make no difference.
It's a change of the met because we can put stuff on the table because Jamaica don't table anything. We don't put on the ballot. We don't go take the petition. There's nothing Jamaican petition for, like I said, petition for weed to be legalized in California and it spread all over. We don't petition for nothing as Jamaican. What we put on the ballot? Nothing, doctor. So we over here, if we have a chance to vote, we'd have put pressure. We'd have put pressure upon crooked politician. We'd have a say so. We'd have be at the door. Them could be this crooked because, doctor, it come back to the people. Everything you said a while ago is beautiful, and we have the solution, and we see the problem. You point out the problem. You give us the solution, but doctor, it don't come like when I watch Shrek. You and what army? When the things of the people behind you, just you alone. The Jamaican people, I know them, doctor. I know my people, them. They will come out, for every politics, every party, they will come out, bikes and car and bus and truck, one line, hungry and all, headache and all, pressure and all, they will come out there for politician. But if they come out there for their own cause, simple example, look at Matthew the other day. Look at what thousands of Jamaicans work in the hotel industry. Matthew came out on his own, come protest the hotel with him placard, on his own. So my people in Jamaica, your mind have to change. We have to keep doing having this kind of conversation. If we get one, we get one. If a two, we get two. If a three, pick it up, we pick up three. But we have to keep going and go. That's why Carlos don't stop swinging with 2x4. Because people are getting more and more. If I have two people, we get it. If I have one, we're doing a good job. We need to re-educate the people. And that's what I feel say. If we get a chance to vote from overseas, change will be made. Because we are zeroing on politician. What? And we know what to do to get something on the ballot. Jamaican people don't do that. Jamaica don't put nothing on the ballot, you know. They don't go around door to door and get signatures, you know. Like we see people at Walmart out there with the clipboard. I get signatures, they go door to door. Signatures to change stuff. Change stuff. We Jamaica do not. The only purpose we serve to the political system in Jamaica have to go dip a finger. That's all. My grandparents, my parents, me, you, that's all we do. We have to change our mind, people. People have to be educated.
Yeah, change is needed. Yeah, well, yeah, it starts somewhere, but I said only, 38% of the people voted last time? Yeah, 62% didn't vote. So it's not a case that people do go out to vote. It's only, it's a minority now that vote. And the minority are keeping, there's no alternative. I mean, that's the problem. Who do you vote for? And that's the problem. It's a big problem.
Look here. Look here. We can't. Look, I see it, you know. We could have voted for them, but if we hold them accountable. Imagine if you was holding a crook accountable. Imagine these guys. Doctor, nobody hold these guys accountable. Doctor, if when me come talk sometime, even the other day, let me tell you about a comment what we see the other day. When Jamaica'S was taking our money, go all over the world, got up on a personal job hunt that was only going to benefit her and her family. Me see somebody put in the comment section when somebody talking against it. Where I run up about for fear money? Doctor, a Jamaican ask somebody for fear their money. Think about this type of people in Jamaica. Me say we need to be we need education in Jamaica. Me not lie. The mindset of the people. Them ask, liberate to ask if a fear money come in a chance to burn out. That means I know the liberate money. The liberator asks, you know, no, say I fear their money, you know. And if you understand the mindset of people, are they okay with the corruption? The last election, guess what I see? People put in the comment section say they don't care about corruption, them still have vote for politician. Jamaica right that, you know. Them not care about corruption, them still have vote for them politician. So the people mindset, doctor, where we continue to do this kind of conversation right there, so. And people can look on stuff and open up their mind, because most people are reading the doctor. You know that too. If you want to hide something from a black man, put it in writing. And that's reality. So those of us who read have to constantly compass circle, tell the black people them what we know. And what we hear and Wagwan. Some will take it, to God bless them. Some will run away, but we don't care. Continue down the path same way. Alright guys, so me and the doctor almost depend for 2 hours, you know. So doctor, me know you have a lot of things there. Go take that space off it. Tell what up on your mind, brother.
Well, I say 2 hours is a long time, but
it's easy. It's easy. We want you back, doctor. We want you back. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm hoping that people have heard and they're going to sign the petition. And when they sign the petition, make the comments there. The same comments that I can see here. All these people who are on here now making their comments here, they should also go and hit that link when you put it in and make the comments there, because if we're going to get change, we've got to stand up, haven't we? we've got to stand up, and we can start here. We say that this petition can be the first step. If we get a certain number, then we hope that it can go viral, and then the politicians will see it, and then they will have to comment. And after that, then we will say, we can be back on this platform again. And then from there, we will decide which direction we should go. But something has to be done. We can't continue. As I said, school opens in a week, and it's going to be a disaster because I've spoken to parents, and they just don't have any money to send them to school. But as I said again, the solutions are there. We have some tweaks to say that we should be investing in renewable energy. We have to look at the debt because it's ludicrous. The debt is killing us with the IMF. It's killing us. It needs to be renegotiated. These are things that need to be done. And I said the politicians, they thrive because the people are ignorant and they kept misinformed. Remember that, they're misinformed. And the poor, every day they worry about putting food on the table. They haven't got time to be worried about other things.
That's true.
The only thing is feeding the children, sending them to school. That's what's on their mind, and it's difficult. Tell them that there's going to be change, and I mean, I don't think many of them think there'll ever be change. They do, unfortunately. But we've got to change the mindset. We can't give up.
No, we're not give up.
To do something, to change the mindset for them to think, you know what? Other countries, they did it. I mean, in Sri Lanka, they took to the streets, didn't they, for change? And we have to do the same thing here.
They're the people.
We can't continue like this.
The people. The Jamaican people. The Jamaican people. Because we can change. A lot of us leave from Jamaica and come overseas and have a problem with what we just come out of Jamaica. Why we have a problem with it? Like, seriously. Why am I having problem with what's going on in Jamaica, people? And many of you. You change, you see better. You know better. You want better. Your mind expand. You educate yourself. You see difference. Imagine if my brothers and sisters in Jamaica see the difference what we are see. Just imagine if they don't start pick up on what we are pick up on. But like the brother said right here, why we different to people? Because we don't have to run go beg politician no handout no more. We're not so hungry no more. A lot of us was in Jamaica, we're overseas, was on the same bus like them people there. We are sell them vote. Jump up and politician come to get a plate of food or something to buy something. Talk to people. Show up a political rally just to get work and things from politician. Scream the loudest, ring out the tongue out of the bell. Push up your fist till you knock the roof. Just the politician see you. When things are going and get the people, we don't really mean to go out there. But that's true, we can do better. When you go to a conference, we don't mean to go out there, but we don't want the politician to see we. So when things are going in your community, you get forced. Why you think people over here so think different? Because we don't hungry no more. We don't hungry no more. So we can't go up our place and cuss out politician. We don't hungry no more. So we see things different. We not talk off a hungry belly. We are talking about we want change for Jamaica. We not hungry no more. So when we attack now, our country we attack for. So imagine if you did a Jamaican attack and your belly you attack for. You see the difference? People don't like me tell. So like the doctor say, you know, poor people have nothing in their mind but to think about the next meal. When I get the next meal from, I pick the girl school tomorrow. When I get the God knows.
That's exactly right. Yeah. It's a dilemma. To fix it, we'll start from the ground where we have to have better education, which needs more money. So that generation will finish. The next generation, they will finish this way of thinking. That's the only way. We have better education. We don't have this system of education where, you know, you have children going to school and then you leave at 17, 18 and they say you haven't got any kind of certification or anything like that, or you haven't passed the subject. This is rubbish. You're supposed to, not every child can memorize whatever they have to memorize. Every child's not like that. So we should have training courses, say, for your carpentry, mechanics, and then in the digital age that we're in now, for coding, building mobile apps, for all of these things. You don't have to be the cleverest person. You can have an aptitude, can't you, for certain things. One of the smartest guys I knew, he dropped out of school at 16. And he could code. He was just incredible coder. So the thing that people can pick up these aptitudes, you find out what they're good at school, and you steer them in that direction. Now, everybody's going to be a lawyer. Everybody's going to be an accountant. No, we need good mechanics, so we don't have many here. We need good plumbers. We need good carpenters. All these things we need. We need our school system to change to produce to produce these people. So it's when people decide that they're going to leave Jamaica, they're not going to go and go bloody farm work. Can you imagine that? Leaving Jamaica is so bad here. You go to Canada to be a slave. That's how bad it is in Jamaica, beautiful Jamaica. That's how bad it is. No, when people leave here, they won't be going to do no bloody farm work or work in a hotel. If they go over there, they're going to get a proper job as a mechanic or doing.
They might go Facebook, they might go Google, they might go YouTube, they might go on text journal. Me tell people, well, doctor, these companies need techies. If it no matter where you come from in the world, they need you. If you're bright or you're smart, they need you. They don't care where you come from. I've seen it. They don't care where you come from. We should have spit out techies. We should have spit out. Guess what we spit out? We spit out farmers and hotel workers and go spread bed and people the level. What we stick to for you. People stick at one level. I know some people. And we can do better. We're not the dunces, boy. People, Jamaicans smart, you know? Jamaicans are smart people, you know?
That's stupid, but I said that if we can change the education system, and which is doable, then these are the changes that we can implement, and eventually, say by the next generation, there will be change. It'd be hard to change this generation. This generation now needs to say enough's enough. And we need to unite, get the changes that's needed.
For the youths.
But, as you said, it's very, 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 very difficult, but we have to try. But this is where the politicians are winning, aren't they? They know this ignorance and the poverty of the people, and the people have just given up, and they know that they've given up.
Man, this is a good. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you say when I go to the market every week to support the people, and it's a quagmire. You should see it. You can't go there if it rains. You know what I mean? So automatically, you've got a situation where obviously all the traders there are going to be poor. But so a lot of them have travelled on the bad roads in the back of trucks, and they leave on a Thursday and they'll stay in Mo Bay, sleeping wherever on the Friday night, the Thursday night and the Friday night.
Me sleep in a market. Me sleep down there before, you know. Me sleep in a Charles Garden market before. Yeah, man, me used to sell a market.
Yeah, you know how hard it is, and the facilities are bad, and if it rains and all the rats and all the rest of it.
A pickpocket, thief.
And yet, you would think that the government would say, let's build a proper market for these poor people to trade in, because if you build a proper market, people then will come there. But people don't go to the market, because it's nasty, it's awful, it stinks, there's rubbish everywhere, so it's a deterrent. People keep away from the market, they'll buy elsewhere. So the poor now, they have a double whammy. They come there and then they don't. I'm not lying to you, Carl. I'm not lying. But I'm telling you, week in, week out now, week in, week out, when I go there now, there are more traders than punters. Less people buying than there are people selling. And that's not a lie. Wow. Not a lie now. That is how bad it is there. And I'm not lying. I'm not lying. It is shocking there. People don't want to go. It's horrible. And you would think that the parliamentarians would turn around thinking, you know what, we've got to help out the poor people. But no, let's build a $50 million parliament building. And this is the thing, isn't it, about the Jamaican people again. When I just came in 2013 and I hear certain things on the news, I used to laugh and thinking, you can't get away with that. Obviously the people will say, no, you can't.
That's what I say. The people, and the people, you come back to the doctor, we point out all the problem, doctor, because remember, JamaicanCarlos up here for years, you know. Me know me people them, you know. And then me deal with them and collar and tassel up for years, you know. So me know me people them. So you see, you talk, so till we identify some of the problem, because we don't touch a half of the stuff. Them. People don't hit a fraction of what we could have talked about, you know. The little time we have allow us to identify a couple problems, right? And a couple solution, people. No matter what we do, we identify the problem and we give the solution. If the Jamaican people don't stand up, nothing will come of this. Nothing. Politicians will win, do whatever they want to do. People tell us, shut up and let him man now. Listen to me. Them ask if Kamina, the money the woman spend. Kamina Johnson, if I feel money. They ask, I feel money. Imagine. Yeah. Jamaican is asking somebody if I feed them the amount of 100, how much millions US dollar spend, wasted. That Jamaican ask another Jamaican if I your money. The Jamaican who asks a question don't know that that's her money. Oh my God.
Yeah.
My people need education.
People, money.
And they necessarily dunce, you know, brother. They're not necessarily dunce people, you know, because, you know, so you have a good friend, we're very educated, and you talk about any kind of subject. But when it comes to politics, you know, everybody illiterate. You notice that, right?
People are ignorant, unfortunately. You say you've got a media that doesn't tell them anything, and when it does, they're misinformed. Then you're going to have problems. And we've got a trailer load full of problems here, haven't we? Yes. It's bad, Carl. I'm just hoping that people are listening. As I said, we can build from this platform now.
Yes. You're going to come back
from this platform.
Yes, we've been on here for 2 hours solid, kind of start on time. So give your final word, doctor. Because the people love you, and you'll be back on this platform. We're going to discuss, just like this, people, issues, solution, how we can fix the country. You understand me? Yeah, man. Give me your last thought, doctor, please.
No, again, it's going to be about, if we want change, we've got to unite. And I said the first thing we have to do, I said, I've got a petition there, please, for people to sign it, circulate it. If they go to the YouTube channel, they can, I've tried to explain as best as I can how the debt works and why public sector workers, like the public sector workers. I'm telling you, it is impossible for you to be paid more. It's impossible. You can't get blood from a stone. Under the IMF agreement, there's something called the wage to GDP ratio. That is going to be set at 9%. So no matter how big the GDP is, 9% of that will be what will go in wages. At the moment, Carl, it's 11%. So it needs to go down. So you tell me how it's going to go down and people are going to get paid more money. How's that going to work? By sacking people, what are you going to do? So they're in a dilemma here. It cannot go up. The only way it can go up is if GDP goes up. But GDP can't go up because it's dependent on bloody tourism, call centres and remittances. So GDP cannot go up. So your wages cannot go up. And public sector workers need to understand this. And when I understand this, I think, you know what, the best thing for me to do is strike, because the only way GDP can go up for them to get better wages is for us to have a better economy. And we can have a better economy by doing some of the things I mentioned. State investment in all the things that I mentioned before. I'll go through it again. Your solar-powered schools, all your infrastructure off the grid. You'll have solar-powered lights. In the rural areas, there'll be at the junctions with your CCTV cameras, so you'll cut down on your pradial larceny, and man will be able to feed his goats and leave them comfortably, knowing that nobody ain't going to teeth them. If they get stolen, he knows they're going to be caught on CCTV somewhere. Mm-hmm. So he can be much more confident. With the money, we have to build the money's there to start putting in and repairing and building roads. Because we can't move forward, as time has proved it, you need to have roads to build the country. You can't have great farmland and you can only get there by a donkey. We have to have roads. We can't have communities marooned because a bridge is broken. We can't. A bridge falls down, you build it back immediately. You don't say you got no money. No, you don't say you got no money when you got over 3 billion and sitting in the reserve.
You care about the people.
No.
No love but for the people. No love.
Yeah, the money in. Make the government explain to us then why we need 3.6 billion. They can't, because it's bullshit. So I said 2 billion of that should be coming out immediately and put to work, and that will create thousands upon thousands of jobs immediately. Thousand people can look forward and think, you know what, I'll be able to do that. Not all these jobs are going to be technical, but they're going to be jobs that people can do, and it's going to start building the country. You're going to need people, as I say, there's going to have to be lots of repairs done all over the place. You're going to have schools rebuilt. All these things are going to have to be done. But as I said, we take 2 billion to do that. We look at the debt. We make sure we cannot be paying 2.2 billion US every year for a debt to go down by $1 billion.
Make no sense. Something wrong, people.
Yeah,
But doctor, let me ask you again. Them are here, you know. Do you think these Jamaican people care? Most of them?
What can I do? I can't do anything about that now, can I, Carl?
But that's how we say. We could keep speaking. We could keep talking.
We can only but hope. Yeah, we can only but hope.
Yes,
it resonates with the ones who listen.
Yes.
And they then talk to their friends. Because not everybody's going to listen. We know that.
That's true.
Some people, you know, they're not. And some people are going to say, turn around and say that I'm PMP, which is just crap. I'm for neither party. Both parties called the debt. Peter Phillips himself, you know, at one point, Peter Phillips, instead of doing the things I just mentioned, you know what he wanted to do to raise more revenue? He wanted to tax when you went to the bank and used the ATM, you wanted to tax that. You wanted to tax the withdrawals. Can you believe that? You put your own bloody money in the bank and you go to get it, and he thought that he wants like $5 for every $100 you take out, something like that. That's how wrecked these people are.
No heart.
We have a bunch of parliamentarians who are just clueless. Clueless about having ideas about to build the country.
Wow. And if they put on the tax on it, the Jamaican people pay it and don't say one word.
No, they went mad. No, Carl, they went mad. He couldn't do it. People went mad. It stepped too far. They went mental. Very quickly.
Me not trust me people, you know. Me love me people, but me not trust them. It call like a Shrek, man. You ever watch Shrek? You watch Shrek? They say, Carlos, go and lead Carlos. Me not behind you, Carlos. Me I come. When trouble come, look me. You are what army. People that watch Shrek. My people, me love you, know. Guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. Doctor, thank you for coming on tonight. It's a 2 strong hours of you. Huh?
Yeah, man, it was long, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 2 long hours, but it didn't look long, people. It didn't look long. Me couldn't find yard people at roadside. Me there, I'ma say, no what, me have to catch this, people. I'ma pull her right at the water side. What a evening, people. What a interview. Share it, people. Share it. You understand me? As you can see, me think them up there, so me still get a fight on Facebook. A shadow ban, but we soon come out of that. Don't worry yourself. We keep pushing. A long time we on social media. We got through this before. Because we should have more people are watching. You don't know that, but when I say nothing, not say nothing about Facebook. Me know they shadow ban me. Shh. They know it, they're here. Anyway, we keep pushing, people. We love it. We love it, doctor. Thank you so much to take the opportunity to come out here to come shed some light and give us some education. And we needed it bad. Big up everybody on the back bench over there, so on the back bench over there, so have the pen and the paper. Yes, respect and manners. Thank you, doctor. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you, doctor. Tell the people them bye. Give them a last word. They want to hear. They love the England accent, you know.
We need change, Carl. We need change. So I hope the people are listening. I said that they go to the YouTube channel and they look on the website. But if we unite, we can get change.
Echo the easier way to get the website like you, and let me hear for your voice where to find this petition. Tell them.
Oh, the petition. Actually, I sent you a link, so I'm hoping that you can put it now. I've been finished.
All right.
People will come back to your Facebook page, and you should then, if you just put in all the details that I sent you,
all right,
then they can get through, can't they, to all the links.
All right, people, I definitely have the link on here, and I'll push it. I'll put the link, and in my future videos, I'll mention about the link, so we'll support the link, people. Change, no come when we sit down lazy, people. Because we don't, not enough people that sit down and mind own business. We have to put in the work. Petition is not go burning down road, blocking road and burning down fence. This is just a signature. That's how change come.
Yeah, that's right. Little thing, you just add to it, don't we? But this I think could be the start
of something brand new. So Dr. John Lennon, it was a pleasure having an ear, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It was great talking to you, Carl. Thanks, mate. Yeah, we'll talk again. All right, bro.
Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye. People want to say about that. It was wonderful, right? We need change, people. Jamaica need change. We need change. We need change bad. Our country need change, people. Our country need change. And it was good for Dr. John Lennon. Man is educated. The man will learn. The man know about the country. More than me and you. People. You know what the country? You know what's going on there? You point out problem, then solution. But we all come back to us, people. We the people. We the people. If we don't want change, no matter what bring come, nothing not change. And true could be said about you can take a horse to a water you can't force him to drink. Same thing. Jamaican people come out for politics strong. Long lines. Good energy. But when it comes to things for us, it uplift ourselves. You hear the man say a while ago. But I truly believe, say, PNP and Labour could have done better all these years, but we the people never hold them accountable. Because when them say them do something now, it's like Parliament and Prime Minister say them build Parliament building. The people should have come out, come protest that. But the people have never have no problem with that. So what? The building go on, not you. When them do this thing, the people need to come out. You say, Roy Reid, you ever see nobody protest Roy Reid got jail yet? Me say, if you ever seen a protest in Jamaica about Roy Reid corruption, scandal. Have you ever seen that? That look like it bother nobody. It not bother nobody. Have you ever seen nobody protest George Wright to beat the woman with stool? Have you? Have you ever seen one Jamaica out there protest George Wrong or beat the woman with stool? If I have two female, have you ever seen that? No bother with people. People like, me say always come back to, you think I Joe Carlos and make you think I know me on social media? You think me don't know me people them? You think Carlos don't know me people them? The problem is the people. The people. Look at England. Why the Prime Minister have to step down there? Because the people wouldn't allow that. The people. We allow. Look what him do now. Him tell lions and look of stuff to Jamaica. You think they don't ask a politician step down like what Boris Johnson do? For what him do? For what he did? You think anybody could have asked, or is going to ask a Jamaican politician to step down like that? Then I said, no, after the man I do nothing. He don't do nothing. Left him man, he want on a bad mind. Left him man, on a bad mind. Left me good up Prime Minister. That's what Jamaica would have said. They want on a bad mind, man. I fight against him, man. They want on a bad mind, man. I want this, I want a bad mind. PNP a bad mind. JLP. That's these things, people. Our standard. Make we agree, as a Jamaican man. I'm going to tell you the truth. Our standard is very low. Our standards are very low. We have appetite for corruption. We have appetite for corruption and slackness. And we as black people is Caribbean to Africa people. And let me tell you, we need to educate ourselves. We need to start have Negro meetings. Remember, me keep doing videos like this, you know. So we need to start going to the Guango tree again and sit down and have meetings, Negro meetings. Because someone will lost chasing on the shiny object. People, we need to come back and find ourselves again. Black people, the most powerful on the earth. We need to know ourselves. We don't know ourselves again. So we can be led by any man, anybody, go anywhere. Anybody can come play with head. You know, and we believe them over, we believe we own our brother. People, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Tell me if I lie, me I tell. Where you cannot go around and change without going to the people. There's no change without going to the people. None. Then if I hear say you can't, if you take a hag out of water, man, then hag that back out, man. You will say, people that try to give this different people. None but ourselves. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Who him say? None. Who now we plan to free our mind? Who are we waiting for free our mind? Politician? The people mind have to be renewed to get change. The people that don't know what change look like. So we still have this old stuff. The smarter one of us are someone who fly overseas. That's why we must fight the vote from overseas. If we get a chance to vote, we change everything. We change it. Dr. Lennon said, if it's going to change because the same dirty party, other people say the same thing too. But no! We're going to put them... You think, say, if we have voted politician in Jamaica, then no. You think some boy can over their teeth, sir? You think some boy can do the thing with them, do? When they have voting power from over, sir? Often write petition and put stuff on the ballot. You think we easy? Back to the people. Jamaican people, I love you now. But it come back to the beautiful people. You guys are beautiful. It come back to you guys. It come back. Left the man. We put a wall around politician, a wall of protection around corruption. We put a wall of protection around corruption. Lord the man. Everything you come here say talk about the man. Every day you come and talk about the man. Lord the man, I'm sitting for you. I for your money. Oh God. I love you guys. Have a wonderful night. It has been the nicest 2.25 hours. They've been nice people. I love it. Informative. And thank all you guys. Share this, people. Share. These are the things to share. Not because we never have the woman in a shake up my behind tonight. Not because we don't have nobody a gyrate tonight. Not because we not cuss out nobody tonight. Share the video. Not because we not hot passa video, man. Now we not twerk tonight and we not cuss out and we not bring nobody if you come scandal tonight for social media. Share the video. This is our video for our meeting. This is a minutes from the meeting. Share it. This is a minutes from the Negro meeting. Share it. I love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Hey guys, tomorrow is our next week. Go do it on our champion. Go get it. Nobody can stop on you. Go get it. Peace and love. Mannaz and respect to everybody else. Enough love. Peace out. Thank you.